Hunting pigeons was a big sport in Brooklyn. Everyone, from mafia dons to little ghetto kids, did it. Now that explains a lot, because I was like, why he so him with the pigeons and the birds? Don't he know that them damn pigeons ain't nothing but rats in the sky? Why you with them nasty things? Baby, mommy is working. Mommy is working. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and tip your favorite narrator via Cash App at $NAYROB on YouTube. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, wait a minute. Y'all, we ain't had a book this goddamn good by a man since the Rickety James, you hear me? Altogether, I would say the best books we have read would be the Rickety James, Mariah Carey, not because she gave us all the tea, but she gave us a lot of truth, okay? Who else? Etta James. If you could think of another one of our books that we read that was hot like fire, put it below. But baby, this Mike Tyson book, Mother Hunches, you're welcome. Eddie was a short, compact guy from South Carolina who was a worker at an industrial laundromat factory. He didn't get too far in school, and by the time my brother and sister got to the 4th grade, he really couldn't help them with their homework. Eddie was a controlling guy, but my mother was a very controlling woman. So all hell would break loose on a routine basis. There was always some kind of fight, and the cops would come and they'd go. Sometimes we'd all get in on the fighting. One day my mother and Eddie were having a bad argument, and they got physical. I jumped in between them trying to defend my mother, and I was trying to restrain him, and whop, he slugged me in my stomach, and I went down. I was like, oh man, I can't believe this shiz. I was just a little kid. That's why I've never put my hands on any of my kids. I don't want them thinking I'm a monster when they get old. But back then, beating on a kid was just the way it was. Nobody cared. Now it's murder. You go to jail. Okay, pause. So I've made it very clear about how I feel about people who are in physical relationships. If you and your man or you and your woman love to get drunk and whoop each other's ass, that's what y'all do. I'm not the one to judge you in your relationship, because a lot of them relationships last for years. Now, if one is getting their ass zipped worse than the other, then I got a problem. Second, if there are children present, I have a problem. I'm not saying that being in physical relationships are cool, but if that's what you all choose to do, then that's what you choose to do. My concern is when you involve the children. Some women in the middle of getting their ass whooped, they call for their children. Why are you calling for the child? Now you're involving the children into this madness. And then later on, after all the fighting, Now the children hear the mama and the pappy or the boyfriend or the daddy and the girlfriend or the two daddies or the two mamas, whatever, in the room, and they hear screams of passion after they've been whooping on each other's ass all day. It's pretty crazy. But like I said, it's a lot of people out here that are having children and they're not mentally capable of rearing them. Eddie and my mother fought over anything. Other men or women, money, control. Eddie was no angel. You know why? Because when Mike Tyson, Mammy, friends would come over the house, her Judies would come over the house, child, they would all sit around and get drunk. And then while the Mammy ain't looking, Eddie in the room hunching on the Mammy's friends. I mean, how's that just Eddie's fault, though? Once when I was 7 years old, they were fighting and boiling up a large pot of water. She told my brother and sister to get under the quilt, but I was so mesmerized watching my wrestling program on the TV that I didn't hear her. My mother was so slick, she walked by and nothing happened. Then she came back into the room, and by then my sister and brother were prepared. They were hiding under the quilt. Eddie was sitting right next to me, and the next thing I heard was this boom, and the pot with the boiling water hit Eddie in the head. A little bit of water splashed on me. It felt like it weighed a ton. Ugh! Eddie ran screaming out the door into the hallway. I ran right after him. He turned around and grabbed me. "Oh, baby, that bitch got you too," he said. "Yeah, the bitch got me too." We brought him back in the room and took his shirt off, and his neck and his back and the side of his face were covered in blistering bubbles. When I think about it, I always thought of my mother as the victim in most situations. And Eddie did beat on her. I'm sure the lady lived would think that her reaction was great. But I thought, how could you do that to somebody who is supposed to be your boyfriend? It made me realize that my mother was no Mother Teresa. She did some serious stuff, and he still stayed with her. In fact, he went to the store to buy her some liquor after she burned him. So you see, he rewarded her for it. That's why I was so actually dysfunctional. That is the kind of life I grew up in. People in love, cracking their heads and bleeding like dogs. They love each other, but they're stabbing each other. Holy shit. I was scared to death of my family in the house. I'm growing around tough women who fight men. So I didn't think fighting a woman was taboo because the women I knew would kill you. Profound. Very profound. I can't wait till we get to this Robin Givens. Man, when I tell you this book is amazing, y'all. Amazing. Thanks, Mike Tyson. You had to fight them because if you didn't, they'd slice you or shoot you. Or else they'd bring some men to take advantage of you and beat you up because they thought you were a punk.
Calling your brothers and your cousins for every little argument, because you women sit on social media, you sit around, oh, everybody killing everybody, but you never tell the truth that there's been 1,000 shootings and homicides trickle back down to you running your fucking mouth or you calling somebody and exaggerating because you feel disrespected. Stop calling people. You get in an argument with somebody on the block, that's it, leave it there. You call your brother, now these niggas going through it the whole summer, and then somebody's child die about it. That's your fault. That's your fault. You can't sit back and say it's not your fault because they went too far. You shouldn't have called.
School was right around the corner from our apartment, but sometimes my mother would be passed out from drinking the night before and wouldn't walk me to school. It was then that the kids would always hit me and kick me. They were like, "Get the F out of here, ninja." I would constantly get abused. They'd punch me in the face and I would run. We would go to school and these guys would pick on us. Then we would go home and they'd pull out guns and rob us for whatever little change we had. That was hardcore. Young kids robbing us right in our own apartment building. That's wild, man. When I got to Morton Street in the 80s, them young dudes who were burglary crews would be like, nah, that's such and such mama. Nah, that's Miss blah, blah, blah. Nah, that's, her mama, or nah, that's the Candid lady. Something. So there were boundaries. These kids have no souls at this young age. This shit is crazy. That's not my life. Having to wear glasses in the first grade was a real turning point in my life. My mother had me tested, and it turned out I was nearsighted, so she made me get glasses. They were so bad. One day I was leaving school at lunchtime to go home, and I had some meatballs from the cafeteria wrapped up in the aluminum to keep them hot. This guy came up to me and said, "Hey, you got any money?" Mike Tyson said no. He ran his pockets. The little boy pulled out the meatballs. Mike Tyson said, "Oh, no, not my meatballs. Please, goddamn, I ain't got no money, but leave me the meatballs." I should have clobbered those guys, but I was so scared because those guys were so brazen and bold that I just figured they must know something I didn't. "Don't beat me up. Leave me alone. Stop," I say. I still feel like a coward to this day because of that bullying. Shit. Well, I mean, you made almost every ninja you stepped into the ring with pay. Flying pigeons was a big sport in Brooklyn. Everyone from mafia dons to little ghetto kids did it. Now that explains a lot, because I was like, why he's so him with the pigeons and the birds? Don't he know that them damn pigeons ain't nothing but rats in the sky? Why you fucking with them nasty things? It's unexplainable. It just gets in your blood. I learned how to handle them, learned the characteristics of them. Then it became something that I became somewhat of a master of, and I took pride in being so good at it. Barkham was the guy who introduced me into the life of crime. Before that, I never stole anything, not a loaf of bread, not a piece of candy, nothing. I had no antisocial tendencies. I didn't have the nerve. But Barkham explained to me that if you always looked good, people would treat you with respect. If you had the newest fashion, the finest stuff, you were a cool dude. You'd have status. Okay, pause. So I'm going to tell you this. When I was working for Marianne's over there on 14th Street, I'm not going to say I was a terrible dresser. I'm just going to say that I bought what I could afford. I was a college student, and I was, just working part-time at Marianne's. But it was another girl who worked there, and she had a baby who had special needs, and she had a man. She was able to invest more into her wardrobe because she worked full time, and she had a boyfriend that was like a drug dealer. But their baby had special needs, so she had concerns and problems like everybody else. She probably was 2 or 3 years older than me, but I couldn't understand why they liked her more. I was 19, maybe 18, something like that. And I learned early that you do not dress for the position you have. You dress and carry yourself for the position that you want. So I learned very early that sometimes your and dig this. It wasn't like she was a better employee at Marianne's than I was. She just had the look. You know what I'm saying? She just dressed more professional. Her pocketbooks were like MCMs or HCLs. You know, if you know about an HCL. She just had the look. And she garnered more respect from the managers. So that's what I did. I took that knowledge very early and I carried it throughout my lifetime. And then when I got my ass done and they was on me at parole and probation, because no matter what I wore, they always got on me. Oh, that's too provocative. What? The bitch that's shaped like a box wearing the same damn dress, but you not on her ass, you on my ass though? So I started putting blazers on top of everything I wore, and there was nothing they could say to me. What he's saying about dressing nice, that carries over in the professional world and the street world, because when you dress nice, you get a level of respect and the bitches. Okay, so I understand what he's saying. That carries over in all life. And I'm not saying that you necessarily have to spend a lot of money on your clothes, because I go to the thrift store to buy my clothes for work. What I'm saying is just the way you present yourself can sometimes convince people that you deserve respect. Maintaining a professional appearance screams, I take pride in myself. And when people see you, they respect that you take pride in yourself. That goes for grooming, haircuts. Like one of my pet peeves, y'all, okay, my bad, I'm going to the left. If you're a man or a woman and you got that black soot under your nails, please don't touch me. Because in my mind, you don't wash. It's some people that wash every day, but they still got that black soot. I need you to take pride in yourself and go get a manicure to get that black soot up underneath your nails. 9 times out of 10, that's a roller. Them rollers be having that stuff because it be like that cigarette tar. Do you really want somebody touching you with that soot under their fingernails? Don't touch me with that. Look like you've been digging in the ground or playing with pigeons. Barkham started introducing me to people on the street as his son. He was only a few years older than me, but it was street terminology that warned people not to disrespect me. It meant, this is my son in the streets. We're family. We rob and steal. This is my little money maker. Don't F with that ninja. People that respected him had to respect me now. He taught me which people to look out for, which people I couldn't trust because they would take my shiz right from me. My life reminded me of Oliver Twist with the older guy, Fagin, teaching all this stuff. He bought me a lot of clothes, but he never gave me a lot of money. He'd make a couple of thousand from robbing and he'd give me 200. But at 8 years old, 200 was a lot of money. Sometimes he'd take out a piece of jewelry that we stole and let me borrow it for a few days. I took my criminality to another level with the Rutland Road crew. They were mostly Caribbean guys from Crown Heights. Barkham knew the older set, the Cats. I started hanging out with the RRC, their junior division. I got involved in their little house robbing heist. We'd go to school, eat breakfast, and then we'd get on the bus and train and start robbing during school hours. That was the beginning of me feeling like I belonged. We were all equal as long as we put in our share of robbing proceeds. Some people might read some of the things I'm talking about and judge me as an adult. Call me a criminal, but I did these things over 35 years ago. I was a little kid looking for love and acceptance, and the streets were where I found it. Word. One day, my friend Curtis and I were robbing a house. The people who lived there were from the Caribbean, and so was Curtis. I was in this pitch black house, and I heard, "Who's that? Is that you, honey?" I thought it was Curtis playing around, trying to scare me.